So I'm going to show you how to cast a circle, which you can use a wand for, and I love wands. I'm a bit of a wand witch, but I'm going to show you how to do it using your fingers so that you know that you can do it anywhere, and you really can do it anywhere. I would normally cast a circle with rose petals. I have a big basket of them here. Before you cast a circle, you need to cleanse the space, so physically clean the space, and then also take a broom, like your besom. Today I'm going to use a cockatoo feather from Australia. So we use this to just sweep the space and give it a good clear. You're sweeping the actual floor, but you're sweeping the energies away as well. And then another nice thing to do is use a prayer bowl. The sound will purify the air. Or you can also use incense. When you're then working with other people in the ceremony, I would then also, using a charcoal or sage stick, put some incense on, and each person who's in the circle with you, they put their hands out like this and you cleanse them. So you take a feather and you will cleanse their feet and along their arms and around their head, and then ask them to turn around, and then you cleanse their back, and you just cleanse them as well, so that everyone, the space and all the people are cleansed, and it just kind of is a fresh starting point. So whatever then happens, you're creating from a fresh, clean space, which is very clean. I'm going to begin by casting a circle in front of you so that you can see what it looks like in its entirety. And then afterwards, I'll break down each movement and show you exactly how they're done. With all these things, I think you don't have to worry about it. So you're meant to go from the north and go clockwise around. This is meant to be, you know, white magic, good magic. If you're doing dark magic, then you would go anti-clockwise. But, I mean, you know, if you're doing good magic, or, you know, but anyway, I don't think you need to worry about these things. I call in the guardians of the north. The north is the physical world. The physical world at the moment is quite scary and it's full of uncertainty. But also at the same time, Mother Earth, the beautiful planet that we stand on, is heaving a huge sigh of relief and is able to breathe for the first time in 100, 200 years. We see a green mist appear before us and we welcome in the guardians of the north. Welcome. We welcome in the guardians of the east. The east is air. Air fills our lungs when we breathe. It's how we communicate. It's how we share wisdom. And at the moment there is lots of scary things being shared, fear-mongering and real anxiety. But at the same time, there's also such kindness and generosity and laughter and love and so many more words being shared with loved ones than we normally have time for. We see a yellow mist appear before us and we welcome in the guardians of the east. Welcome. We welcome in the guardians of the south. The south is fire. Fire is the thing that moves and creates action and force and destruction in the world and in the universe. We welcome in the guardians of the south. Welcome. And we welcome in the guardians of the west. The west is water. Water is the deep, secret, silent part of ourselves. I see a blue mist appear before me, and I welcome in the guardians of the west. Welcome. Then we welcome in, first of all, the goddess. So with your left hand, make the moon shape. And at the moment, the goddess is a virgin, and it's the beginning of spring, but she's in love because she's just met the sun and has instantly fallen in love with him. Who wouldn't? And she's wearing a beautiful green, bright green dress that matches the fresh new leaves that are just sprouting out. And her eyes are full of stars. And then we welcome in the horned god. And at the moment, he is a young man. He's basically still a boy. And he's just appeared in the world and is the hot new thing on the block. And our virgin goddess is completely bowled over by him. And then there is that betwixt the two. And this is because the genders are not clear, and there are lots of examples in nature where things are like trees that self-reproduce, and there are creatures that change gender. So nothing is black and white in this world. It's all a mix, and it's good to celebrate that fuzzy line between the binary oppositions. And for me, this is represented by the Fool. And the Fool, for me, trips between the binary oppositions. It laughs in the face of rules and physics and anything that is meant to be set. The Fool is there to chuck some unknown into the mix. So we welcome in that betwixt the two. Now would be a point where you would also welcome in some deities or a team of women or people that you want to call into the space with you. These are women that inspire me, and I just like to have them in the circle with me. So we've got Boudicca, never mess with an Essex girl, she'll take you down. Tiffany, a practical witch from the Chalk Downs, always carry a piece of string. Marilyn Monroe, because Bjork, just because she's fucking cool and I really wish that she was my friend. Angela Carter, who's like one of my favourite writers. Her book Nights at the Flying Circus is just brilliant. Talk about a sexy, amazing female lead character who's not in any way fitting any of the norms that we see in Hollywood and advertising. Virginia Woolf, because she kicks ass. And Sylvia Plath, who's my favourite poet, and I adore her. She was full of magic and wonder. So they're my team. So when I'm calling in deities, I might call them in to be with me. I also might call in my coven. And then often what I'll do is I'll call in deities that are relevant to the ceremony. So for example, tonight we're going to be doing the spring equinox. So you can be looking at Artemis, for example, the Virgin Mary. Yeah, so each one's different. Like in the summer, it will be more like Aphrodite and Venus. And I'll do a video looking at deities and how to find out more about them, get to know them, and kind of go on that relationship journey. Now the circle is cast. If you want to leave the circle at any point, then you would use your finger and you will draw a door in the circle, and then that leaves a gap. When you then reseal it, depending if you'd use rose petals, for example, I would clear a space with the rose petals and then I'd put the rose petals back again, or you can just redraw it with your finger. But it means I can now come through this circle and come out, and that's how I cast a circle. I'm just going to show you the movements clearer so you can see what they are. So the north, so what you do is you always make sure your circle is facing in the correct directions. So I did mine to your camera, you're actually northwest. So my north is actually here. The sea in Brighton is just over there. So the sea is south, this is the north. So you would make your circle, normally you have the altar space at the north of the circle. And that's kind of like, yeah, it's the physical. So like the altar is physically here in the space. I mean, people sometimes put bowls of like like you'd have salt or rose petals in a bowl in the north, and then you can have incense for the air at the east, and then you can have also a candle for the south, and then a bowl of water for the west, which I am going to go and get all of those things ready for the ceremony this evening. And but you can, like I say, you can just do this anyway. You don't have to have anything with you. You don't need the stuff. The stuff's nice, but you don't need it. So doing the north is facing north, hands down, like parallel to the earth. So you can see they're parallel to the earth, and so you're feeling the energy of the earth under your palms pushing up against you, the kind of gravity. And you welcome in the guardians of the north, and it's the physical world, your physical body, and the physical outer world, and it's kind of money, and you know, it's all the kind of outer world stuff. And the guardians of the north are green because nature's green on the whole. So the physical earth world, that's north. Then east, which you do facing east, fingers spread, and then this is so the wind can get through your fingers. And when you welcome in the guardians of the east is air and breath. So just think of all the things that are shared in the world because of air, you know, our laughter, our stories, all of these things. So those are the things that the east represents. And the guardians of the east will appear as a yellow mist. So that's yellow because it's kind of the colour of smoke. And then south, I really love. It's like I think it's a bit like a superhero. I'll go further back so you can see my hands. So you have your hands up in the air, fists clenched like you're Superman, you're flying through the air. And the south, I'll come back close to you. And then the south is passion, and like it's all the things that make action, you know, things like bombs and explosions, and it's all the things that Mars represents. So it's, I just think of it like a Latino lover, like it's like, you know, fighting and smashing plates and then having sex. It's like all of that kind of stuff. Then the guardians of the west is cupping like this, and guardians, oh yeah, so obviously south is red. Guardians of the west is a blue mist, and the west, just think of those strange creatures that you see at the bottom of the deepest, darkest oceans, like and there's things that we don't yet know, we've not yet seen. So it's like the literal dark depths of the unknown in your soul that are like, it's adventurous, it's exciting, you know, like keep always digging, but you keep finding new things, like that mind palace that Sherlock Holmes talks about. It's like there are many rooms that you've not been in, and you never will go in all of them, and that's really cool. I love that. So yeah, this is like, and it's the silent part of you. We are made of twins, which I will tell you more about with Fooling, but you have your outer world you, and then you have your inner world you, and your inner world can't speak, it can only be expressed, and that's why you create art, to show people what is in your inner world, and that is in the west, your silent twin, and that's a blue mist. You're calling the energy in, like feel the energy coming up through the floor, through your feet, and then feel the energy coming down through the universe. Like feel that they go on forever, but you feel that core going through the earth and then out the other end and then through the universe, and you're just like, infinite energy is coming to you, and that infinite energy is coming to you. It's real, and you've got this energy coming down, and I imagine them coming down and hitting in my womb space, your seat of power, your magic cauldron, and just kicking up a storm in there, and they fill you up, they fill you up, and they fill you up. And when you can feel your whole body is full of power, that's when you visualize that you are drawing this circle, and I see it as a bright blue light. You can see it as whatever you want, a circle of bright blue light that you're drawing that's like hovering in the air. And then you pull, like you imagine you're pulling that line up into a dome above your head. So it's now like you're underneath a hovering dome. And then as you pull your arms down, you pull that dome down under your feet, and it goes under the earth. And so a magic circle isn't a circle, it's actually a ball. You're inside a ball, and that ball protects you. And I felt it when I did the initiation ceremony for my first friend who initiated, and we were in the snow, and it felt like we were in a snow globe. Like the whole ceremony we were warm, and the second we cut the circle we suddenly got really cold and started shivering. So it does feel like it creates a protective force field around you. You know, it's real. These are two of my wands. This one's a nice big one that my friend made for me. Then this one my dear friend Ro gave to me. He's currently stuck in Brazil and is with a friend who's not very well. So we're sending her lots of love. And I used this evening for the ceremony to help send her some love. So that's how you cast a circle. And in my next video, I will show you how to close the circle afterwards. Thank you.